want to launch, you can actually start up something for yourself.
So trust the process, take the course.
If you just trust it, like, you know what I mean, just trust it and actually go through the steps. But if you follow the process and take like each step at a time and do the assignments, like, you definitely gonna see the results. And the biggest thing
we just finished a one-on-one session. Randy, just tell the people a little bit how you feel, what we accomplished.
All right, so at this point, well, before the call, I was definitely in limbo. I explained that to Coach Nick, and in just 30 minutes, I got clarity. I have direction. Like, the fog is clearing up, and I'm almost able to see this light at the end of the road in 30 minutes.
How excited are you for your new journey?
I'm too excited. I am too excited. And I just, like I told you, I just want to save these women. I just want to help these women. I just, like, I'm sorry. I know it's being recorded.
It's all good. It's all good.
Man, and you just cleared that up. And you let me know what I'm really here for, why I'm still here, and why I'm overcoming the way I am. And thank you, Coach Nick.
Of course, you will help these women get their life back. So let's go do it. It's time to put our money where our mouth is. So yeah. Let's work.
Let's get it.
Are y'all ready to get to work? Let me get a let's go in the chat if you're ready to get to work. I see Bridget in the building. Hey, Bridget, Goddess Tula. I see Clifton. We're live on YouTube. Let me come on screen here. We're live on YouTube. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from, and what are you looking to get out of this session today? You are in the Speak to Sell training. This is actually the second time that I'm doing this training just for our audience. So we have a nice niche little group today. But let me know where you're from and what you're looking to get out of this training today. Let's go. Let me see in these comments. All right, we got to let's go. Hey, Bridget, what's up? Bridget is tuning in from San Juan Capistrano. Okay, had to sound it out. California, let's go. Tula's coming in from South Carolina. Clifton is here in Atlanta. Let's go. Also, drop in the chat what you do, so that I know how to tailor this training to you. If you're watching me on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio. Join me in the webinar room. I'm about to share my slides in a little bit. You don't want to miss out. It's a small group today, but it's small because it's intentional. You are here because you are looking to grow your business. And if you're in this particular room, you might be looking to grow your business through speaking. And I have cracked the code of moving people to take action after speaking. I'm excited to share that with you today. So Bridget is an expert presentation slide design that really converts. I love it. I love it. Clifton, put what you do in the chat. Clifton is a certified and licensed photographer and videographer in the city of Atlanta. Yes, y'all are in the right room. Let's go. We got Kindred Williams on Instagram. Kindred is a blogger and a social media influencer. Let's go. Okay, so listen, I am going to jump in these slides. I do not want to take up your entire afternoon, but I want to give you this game. So let me even just stop sharing. So I'm going to share my slides over here. And let's get into some things. I want to respect your time because I know we all got things to do. Amen. Awesome. Okay. Let me give my computer a little time. Here we go. Let's spotlight and let's go full screen. All right. Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see my screen with no issues. All right, yes, we got it. Awesome. Well, listen, I'm excited to share this training with you. Like I mentioned, this is the second time that I'm doing this training. And I'm excited to share with you just some things that I've learned along the way as I've grown my speaking career. And so you are in the Speak to Sell training, how I turned 2 tiny speaking gigs into over $20,000 in sales. And this was in right at the 30-day mark. And you don't need a big stage to do this. You don't need a big name, and you don't need to sound salesy, right? This is a surprisingly simple system that I use to turn a 1 minute talk and a 10-minute talk into premium clients. And so I want you to get focused. This one is worth your full attention. When you stay until the end, I'm going to share the exact messaging script that I use to guide people from the audience straight into my offer. I'll either show you the video or I will actually demonstrate the talk for you. Let me know in the chat, which one would y'all like to see? Would you like to see the video of me actually doing the talk, or would you like to see me demonstrate it in live time? Let me know. And then also, this is a no fluff. This is the real system built on real results. You'll leave with a clear strategy that you can use at your very next speaking opportunity. And I want you to take notes. Okay, so the framework that I'm sharing has helped over 100 business owners launch, grow, and scale their ideas into profitable businesses. And your breakthrough may be one talk away. So, who am I? Some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name is Nicholas Marquis. I'm a business coach. Okay, I see demonstrate live in the chat. Okay, y'all going live. Okay, we're gonna do it live. But I am a business coach and launch strategist. I've successfully helped over 100 plus small business owners launch, grow, and scale their ideas into profitable 6 and 7 figure businesses. I was recognized at New York Weekly magazine as one of the top 10 business coaches to watch in 2024, but it didn't start there. My first business was actually in event planning over back in 2012. And I started from a $100 baby shower, which I'll tell you all about in a second, and built my business to working with big Fortune 500 companies in the country like Coca-Cola, BET, and Delta Airlines. Now, who is this webinar for? This webinar is going to be perfect for coaches and consultants. So you've helped someone transform results or transform and get results, and you're ready to charge what you're worth. This is for service providers and product entrepreneurs. So you have something valuable to sell and want a repeatable system to sell it. This is for premium minded professionals. So you charge premium prices for your products and services, and you're open to the idea of doing so and using speaking to generate leads for your business. Let's be honest, this webinar is not for everyone. All right. If you are closed to a new way of thinking, this webinar ain't for you. Okay. But if you're open to maybe a different approach to your business or learning a different approach to your business, I want you to stay right where you are. If you're just dabbling, right? So I got a sometimesy business, right? I'm sometimes in my business, I'm sometimes not. I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm hot and cold. This webinar is probably not for you. If you're treating your business like a casual side hustle with no intention of scaling it, this isn't your moment just yet. I had a call with somebody yesterday and they were like, "Oh, I don't want to grow. I kind of want to stay where I'm at." And I'm like, what a limited way of thinking, right? But that's okay. This webinar is just not for you. If you're completely brand new, you have zero idea of what you want to offer, who you want to serve, build that clarity first before applying the system. You can still attend this training. But what I'm going to go over with you is going to be best if you have some idea of what you want to do, right? All right. So now that we talked about who it's for and who it's not for, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine. Imagine what's possible. Imagine overcoming the fear of selling and replacing it with confidence in a clear process. Imagine having a thriving business, even in an unstable economy or a recession, like we like to call it, because your pipeline is built on systems, not luck. And imagine if you were able to project your revenue with data, knowing exactly where your next 10, 20, or 50K is coming from. And imagine walking into any room knowing that you will be closing 30 to 40% of that audience that raised their hands because you know exactly what to offer and what to say. This training is different, y'all. We're not talking about keynoting, right? And so here's what I'm not going to be covering with you is how to land big keynote speeches on stage, how to build a massive following first and a big email list first, how to need a huge room or a famous name in order to convert. What this training is about converting any room you walk into. And it's about building your business using other people's audiences. Somebody dropped OPA in the chat. Other people's audiences. And then I'm also going to be teaching you how to sell through relationship building at scale and not nasty pitching, right? I know people hate pitching. Oh, Nick, teach me how to sell without being salesy. All right. And listen, if you're on Instagram, y'all participate too. We want you in the webinar room, but y'all can drop it in the chat as well. All right, so let me tell you how my journey started in entrepreneurship first, why you should listen to me, and why I am true to this and not new to this. So I started as an event planner, like I told you, right? And in my first business, my first client was for a baby shower. And y'all, I did the food, I did the decor, I did the planning, the execution. The baby mama was asking me to throw away people's plates. How many of you can guess? Well, I already told you. I was gonna ask how many of you can guess how much I made from that baby shower, but I only made $100 from that baby shower. And the reason why was because I didn't know how to charge for my services. I didn't know how to generate the right clientele. And to be honest, I was just winging it. I was just trying anything. And that's okay because when you are first starting in business, you don't know what you don't know. But then I moved to Atlanta. Okay, I felt like God was telling me it's time to move to Atlanta. Anybody ever feel like God, the universe, whoever you identify your creator being, you got this call, you need to move in this direction. And at first, it wasn't the pictured perfect dream that I thought it was going to be. I was underpaid, overworked. I was working as a server at Longhorn, trying to build this business. And it had got to a point where I was like, you know what? I need to make this work. It has to work or it has to work. There is no other option. How many of you are in that space right now with your business? This has to work or it has to work. Last year, 2025, maybe you did hit your revenue goals, but if you didn't hit your revenue goals, if you didn't hit your business goals, this is your year. Am I the only one in here? Okay, I see Clifton know that feeling. Drop a me too in the chat. If you know that this is your year, this is the year that it has to work or it has to work. And so I worked with a coach, as a matter of fact, and it was this lady named Melanie who gave me the fundamentals of business, of running a business. And it's almost as if my business instantly took off. I began working with Fortune 500 companies like Coca-Cola, BET, and Delta Airlines. And listen, y'all, I was doing my thing. But what I really enjoyed doing was bringing those strategies back to my fellow small business owners and teaching them how to properly leverage events to sell their products and services, right? And the reason I emphasize that is because we're gonna come back to that. Now, at the same time, I had a job as an event manager for a well-known hotel, and the pandemic hit in 2020, and I was laid off of my job. And all of my personal contracts canceled because y'all remember what the pandemic was like. We didn't know if we were going back to in person, what events looked like. We didn't know. And I began asking God, what am I going to do? All I know is events. All I know is how to plan events. What am I going to do? Well, my friends and family started asking me to help them start their business. And so I would be on calls helping people start their business and, helping people, learn about marketing and launch strategy. Again, I had learned, listen, I was the trade show coordinator for Microsoft. And I recognized that they launched beta products and people were buying them at their show. And I was teaching them these same frameworks. My godmom was my first client. Okay. Shout out to the mamas in the chat. Sometimes they're going to be your first client. And when we launched her business, she generated over $100,000 her very first year in business. Can we get some hand claps in the chat for my godmom, Cynthia? And then I began taking this framework and I said, oh, I have something here. I was introduced to the world of coaching. And now I run CEO Mentality, which we focus on helping small business owners launch, grow, and scale and turn their ideas into profitable businesses. We've successfully helped over 100 clients, starting from scratch all the way to launch, growth, and scale. All right. So that's a little bit about me. But, again, you're here to learn about your business and how to take your business to the next level. So let's get into some strategies. All right. So here's what I had to unlearn. All right. These are the 3 myths that kept me stuck when I was trying to grow my speaking career. And so myth number 1 is I thought keynoting was the only way to get paid big from speaking. Here's the thing. Your speaker fee is one aspect of your speaking career. But sometimes, and 9 times out of 10, I am doing free speaking gigs or I'm actually paying to get on stage because the payoff on the back end is so much larger, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Myth number 2 is I thought I needed to be a motivational speaker to move an audience into action. How many of you feel like if you're speaking, you got to be a motivational speaker? Drop a me in the chat if you feel like, okay, to get people to move or to resonate, I have to motivate them. All right, I got some me's in the chat. And then myth number 3 is I thought I had to sell from stage or invite people to a call on the spot to close the deals, right? None of this was true. What I discovered instead was my breakthrough moment. Number 1, I'm a teacher and not a motivational speaker. I can motivate you, right? I'm a coach, so obviously, that's a part of the job and the role. But when people book me to speak, they book me to coach and to teach, right? And when I stopped trying to motivate and started using a teaching framework, everything shifted. I didn't need a long time slot either. I didn't need a massive stage. And my ideal buyers moved with urgency, not because I pitched them, but because of the framework, because the framework did it for me, right? The framework did it for me. And so I want to give you a preview to what you're going to learn today. It's called the ACC method, the ACC method. The only speaking to sales framework built for coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs who want to convert rooms into revenue without a big stage or salesy. Hand claps and applauses are fine, but can I get a money bag emoji in the chat if y'all want to generate revenue from your talks and not just hand claps and applause? I want to make sure we are in the right room. What's up, Instagram? If you want to join me in the webinar room, make sure you click the link in the bio and join me in the webinar room. Okay, I got a money bag from Bridget. Bridget's my girl. Bridget knows the deal, right? We want to generate revenue and not just hand claps. And I was tired of generating hand claps, right? So here's what ACC stands for: attract, convict, and convert. When we attract, we want to begin with the end in mind. When we convict, we want to get people into our world. And then when we convert, we want to turn attendees into buyers, right? So the big secret, I'm going to dive in deeper on how I did this, is that I didn't try to sell on stage. I didn't even try to sell in the room. I invited people into my world, right? I convicted them, and then I had a process that I'll show you in a second to convert them into buyers. Let's talk about more of what that looks like. So secret number 1, attract. You need to begin with the end in mind. Let's go, King Dree. King Dree. Yes, let's go. Join the webinar room. All right. Begin with the end in mind. So most speakers walk on stage without a plan to convert. The result, people forget you the moment the next speaker walks up. And you need to know that intention changes everything. So here's what most people think. Most people think that if I mention my offer or try to sell from stage, it'll turn the audience off. How many of you give me a hashtag guilty if that's you, right? Here's what actually happens when you think that. You limit your ability to help the people who need you the most. Also, you assume they'll find you afterwards, but most won't. And that's the real deal. They move on after the event ends. And then here's the biggest consequence is that you leave money on the table and impact on the table every single time. So here's what I need you to know, right? You need to get on the right stages, right? So we don't want to just get on any stages. At first, when I was trying to grow my speaking career, I was speaking to any and everybody, right? I would speak at I would speak at a birthday party. I would speak at any types of events, but we have to get intentional. Everybody say or write in the chat intentional. You want to get intentional, right? Before you speak anywhere, you need to ask, where are my ideal buyers already showing up and paying to solve a related problem? So if you are in health and wellness, you want to think like, okay, what boot camps are they a part of? What health clubs are they a part of? What wellness retreats are they a part of? Right? If you're in business, you want to think, what networking events are they attending? What summits are they attending? What conferences or virtual events are they already going to or signing up for, registering for? What about women's empowerment? So maybe you're a life coach, right? You're thinking, what groups or associations or clubs are these women already a part of? Now, here's a tip, right? When I look at a room that I'm going to speak in, I usually want one of two things to be happening. I want them to either pay to get in that room, right? So you either paid to register or you paid to get your ticket, or I want them to be paying. I want paying people to be a part of that room. So you're either paying for memberships to be a part of this organization, and you're going to join this. You're going to join this event, or you're part of this networking community. So for me, um, I specifically spoke on two stages. One was, let me see if I'm going into this in the next slides. Oh yeah. So I specifically spoke on two stages. So one was a 1 minute talk. It was for a virtual business conference for one of my mentors, and the attendees were actively seeking strategies to grow their business. This was perfect alignment, right? And I paid $97. Okay. I'll just give y'all, can I just keep it real? I paid $97 to speak on that stage. Now, I'm going to get into the numbers and what that $97 turned into, but I paid for the opportunities, right? So everybody put pay in the chat. You can pay to be on stages, right? Pay to be on stages, ultimately to build your own stage. Now, the second talk that I spoke at was for a fellow coach. He's a mindset and personal development coach, and he holds a call every week at 7 a.m. By the way, 7 a.m. He holds a call every week, and his members on that call paid to be a part of his community. Now, I did that talk for free. It was a 10-minute talk in the same version of what I did in the 1 minute talk, but just a little bit longer. And that talk generated leads inside of my business because I invited them into my world, right? These people were already investing in themselves. They're warm, they're motivated, and they were ready. Okay. Now, this was a partnership. So everybody put partner in the chat. So we should have paid in the chat and we should have partner in the chat. Right. So another way to get on stages is to partner. I said, hey, mindset coach, do you have entrepreneurs in your audience? Yes, like 90% of my audience is entrepreneurs. Great. I am having this event and I would like to come and do a talk for your group. And I'm going to make an offer at the end of that talk. And then anyone that takes the next step with me or books time, or not books time, but actually works with me or invests with me, I'm going to give you an incentive, right? And so you want to form your partnership to get on stage. So now we're bartering, right? Again, this is business. Can we keep it real? This is business. This is how business is done. So paying to be on stages, or you can barter to be on stages or do free talks. And then there have been times where I've been paid to be on that stage and I still make an offer and still maximize my revenue, right? So now you want to find your stage. And again, you don't need a long time to do this, right? So again, the first talk that I attended, she was selling 1 minute talking spots for $97. She had other talking spots as well. I didn't need the other. I said, I just need a minute. Just give me a minute and I could do what I need to do, right? So you need to figure out who in your world, in your network, can you reach out to, and do they have an audience? Do they have a community? Do they have a network? Do they have an event that they host? And then you need to research events that are already happening. And you need to reach out and simply just ask, I would love to come and do a talk. And I lead with, I would love to come and do a 10-minute talk or a 20-minute talk, right? So that they know I don't need a whole hour spot. All right. All right. Is this making sense? Let me know if it's making sense in the chat. All right. Let me know on Instagram, on YouTube, if this is making sense in the chat. All right. So here's how this works, right? So if you say the right thing in the right rooms and make the right offer, people will move every time. So the very beginning of your talk, you want an attention grabber, right? And when I demonstrate my talk at the end of this call, you'll see in action what my attention grabber was, right? As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do it now. Let me see. So, well, my attention grabber was me singing, okay? Because I have a voice. So I said $129,800 because the next piece is why they should care. You need to state a bold claim and grab their attention. And I said that is what I saw on my financial statements at the end of my first six-figure year as a business owner. All right. So that attention. Did that grab y'all's attention? Let me know. Say yes in the chat if that grabbed your attention. Give me a yes in the chat if that grabbed your attention. So you want to grab their attention, and then you also want to let them know why they should care, right? And in a minute, I'll find my script. I ain't got my script in front of me. But why they should care, right? So in the next 60 seconds, I am going to teach you how to sell more of your products and services using webinars and virtual events, right? Big claim. So Bridget she does presentations. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you how to generate six figures in your business from using strategic presentations or whatever your big claim statement is. Clifton is a photographer. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you 3 steps to take your brand from where it is now. Okay, no, let me redo this. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you the 3 steps to turn your brand into a billion-dollar brand, right? Or a multi six-figure brand. If you're talking to business owners, right? Or in the next 3, let's say you're talking to people who are booking your services because they want to do family photos. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you how to capture a moment that will last for a lifetime, right? Why should they care? State a big claim. All right. Then the next phase or the next piece of the framework is your aha moment. So this is where you want to teach a clear framework. There's 3 simple steps, right? So step 1, you're going to do this. Step 2, you're going to do this. Step 3, you're going to do this. Now your steps need to overcome the biggest roadblocks and limiting beliefs that your audience has about getting to the result that you can help them get to. All right. Again, we got to do this quick. So we have to make it transformational and not just informational. The way you make it transformational is overcoming limiting beliefs and knocking down roadblocks and just causing intrigue. And then the last step is to invite them in. So you want to ask them to opt into your world. Here's where the rubber meets the road. You don't just want people to walk in the back of the room and meet you. You don't want people to just follow you on social media. You want people to scan a QR code, to go to this website or use this link, drop the link in the chat, so that they can give you the 3 most important pieces of information you can get from a lead. Who knows what that information is? Drop in the chat, what are the 3 most important pieces of information you can get from a lead? Name, email, and phone number. 100%. Somebody give Bridget a hand. Name, phone number, and email. Those are the three most important piece of information you can get from your audience. Here's the why behind that. Because once you get them in your world, you take control of the sales process. The number one rule in sales is to always remain in leadership, right? When you put the prospect in leadership, now you've lost the sale, right? If you leave that room and you have not moved people into your world, now you leave it to chance for them to remember you, to find you, and to follow up with you, right? We want to take leadership in our sales process. Somebody dropped lead in the chat, right? Leadership in the sales process. And then it's not enough to just make an offer, right? But the end, you need to incentivize people to take action. So how can we infuse urgency in our talk, in our offer? How can we create some bonuses for taking action now and not later? Give people a reason to move. If you don't give people a reason to move, they won't move, right? People don't move unless you give them a reason to. So you want to figure out what pieces how can you incentivize people to take action now and not later. Every talk, whether 60 seconds or 60 minutes, should follow this arc. The framework does the selling for you so you don't have to. And then you take this, you can move it down into 1 minute or you can expand it into however long you need to. All right. All right, so that was secret number one, right? Attract, get on the right stages, say the right things to the right people, and make the right offer. Secret number two is convict. Everybody put convict in the chat. Drop convict in the chat. Here's how you need to convict them. You need to create a virtual event to get people into your world. And you're going to learn how to make your audience say, yes, I want that. Okay? Let's go, Tula. All right. So secret number two, convict. Stop inviting people to cold calls. So here's what most people do. They invite people to a discovery call straight from the stage, right? How many of you have seen that done? We invite people directly to a strategy call or discovery call directly from the stage. We try to close at the back of the room or at the table before people leave, right? And what else people do is, they end up on calls with unqualified and guarded prospects. We haven't built enough value in the prospect to reduce sales resistance or to lower sales resistance. How many of you have heard the term sales resistance before? Sales resistance is when your audience has your prospect, their walls are up before you can even get to the offer because they're like, I don't want to be sold, right? No one wants to be sold. People want their problem solved. So when we don't do what I'm about to show you, you end up on calls with unqualified people who get on, or people who don't show up, right? And now you've wasted time on your calendar. Here's why it backfires. You sound like every other speaker making an offer. I can't tell you, when I first started doing speaking, and I was making offers from stages, right? I was taught to make an offer to bring people to a call. Here's the thing, you can offer a call, but we're going to also offer a virtual event so that we can grab people who don't necessarily want to jump on a call with you. Can we keep it real? There are some people who are like, I don't want to jump on a call just yet. I don't even know who you, like, I got some value from your talk, but I don't want to jump on a call just yet. I don't know if I want to invest with you yet, right? Here's the other thing. Here's the other reason why it backfires. People forget you and they forget what you offer within hours, right? So especially if you're speaking at a summit, a lot of times I will speak at summits where they have like 25. Sometimes I've spoken at summits with 100 speakers. And when I tell you that every time I speak, people remember who I am because of what I say and how I say it, but they also get into my world. And I always win using the framework I just showed you. I normally win like People's Choice Award whenever they're doing rankings and surveys, right? But 9 times out of 10, even with the best speech, people forget you. They forget what you offer, right? And then here's the other thing. Show up rates tank. So your time gets wasted, on bad fit calls. You block your calendar from someone who could actually be a high quality lead for you that you actually want to talk to and want to talk to you. And it's just a mess. So here's why virtual events change everything, right? Number one, you naturally inside of a virtual event, the stages of what needs to happen in order for you to make a sale or in order for someone to want to do business with you or invest with you, you can do all of that in a virtual event, right? So here's what needs to happen in your sales process. All right. Step one, you need to qualify the prospect. You need people who have a problem you can solve, people who want that help solving that problem, and people who have the means to invest in getting their problem solved. Right? I'll repeat that. People who have a problem you can solve. People who want that problem solved. There's nothing like trying to convince somebody who doesn't want that their problem solved or doesn't want it bad enough. And then three, people who have the means to invest in getting their problem solved. Then you have to build the three beliefs, right? And so there's three beliefs that I walk my client through, that I teach my clients that they have to build in their virtual event or their webinar in order to get someone to move to the next step. That is the belief in you as the expert. Who is this person? What qualifies you to be to teach me about this thing or to help me solve this problem, right? The belief in and have you helped other people do it? The belief in your process. Has this process worked for you and others? Will this process help me overcome limiting beliefs, roadblocks, help me get to the end game faster? And the belief that they could do it with your help, right? The belief that if I use this process and I work with this person or this team, they can help me get to the result that I'm looking for. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. All right. The third piece on the wheel is handle objections. So you have to handle objections. And here's the thing. The worst objection is the unspoken objection. So why not create an event or a presentation that just knocks those objections out of the park, right? Move them on out of the way. All right. And then number three, you have to demonstrate the product. So they need to know what they're getting. You need to make an offer, and you can do that leveraging a virtual event. And you can do that strategically to where people are invested in your virtual event. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number five, step five is you have to make the ask, right? So we have to make the ask that, hey, I have something that could help you. And then number six is to build rapport and know, like, and trust, right? So how many of you have heard of the KLT, know, like, and trust factor, right? Do I know this person? Do I like them and do I trust them? Now, there are, competing philosophies around if you need all three or if you just need one or two. But essentially, a virtual event helps you build know, like, and trust faster. Every element needed to close a sale happens naturally inside of a well-designed virtual event or webinar. Your audience warms up, they get qualified, and sells themselves before you even make the ask, right? Here's something that a mentor taught me that I heard. I don't know if they learned it from someone, but immersion causes conversion. The more time someone spends with you, the less hesitant they are to spend with you. Think about it. How many of you have ever been to those free breakfasts or presentations at these resorts when you get off of when you go to like this destination spot? Have anybody ever attended a timeshare presentation? Type yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so listen, I remember going to Cancun and getting off the flight. I had just turned 25, and I was naive. And I remember being invited to free breakfast. I wanted the free breakfast. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go. So they're taking us on this tour of the resort and all this stuff. 4 hours later, I'm still in a timeshare presentation. Now, I didn't buy because I didn't have the money at that time. But for their ideal client, their ideal customer, they buy. because immersion causes conversion. And the same thing happens when you create your virtual event. Now, cold calls versus your virtual event. So here's the thing, right? Um, I'm not against you having sales calls. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to continue doing sales calls. But would you rather get on a call with someone who's cold, you don't know who they are, if they're interested, they don't know you, versus someone who's been through your webinar or your 3-day challenge or your 5-day summit, or they've consumed your content? Who do you think is more qualified? Who do you think is more likely to convert? Right? Bridget said we end up buying. Yeah, we ended up buying, but we loved going the time. Yeah, listen, again, back then I didn't have it, right? And I was not their ideal client, but you were their ideal client. But let me ask you, so again, who do you think is more likely to convert? The prospect who's cold, don't know you, haven't been consuming your content, or someone who's consumed your content and they know what you do, who you are, and how you can serve? Who do you think is easier to convert? Yes, someone who knows you, right? And so 50 cold, the math is simple. Talk to 50 cold leads one-on-one, or bring 50 people into your virtual event for 60 to 90 minutes of immersive value. The virtual event, the virtual event group converts at a 3 to 4x times the rate that you would if it was just doing cold calls. And it takes a fraction of your time. If you're not leveraging virtual events in your business, you are leaving money on the table. Okay. All right. So secret number 3 is convert. You need to create an intentional process that turns attendees into buyers now and later. You ever heard of that candy, now and later? I used to call it annihilator, but now we want to turn people into buyers now and later. So you're going to learn the exact process that I use to close over $23,000 from a single virtual event. All right. So the first step is you need to know your buyers. So there are 2 types of buyers in every room. I don't care what room you speak in or you talk to, there's 2 types of buyers. There are emotional buyers, right? These are buyers who decide in the moment, right? They're moved by story, energy, urgency. They need a clear, compelling reason to act right now, and a fast action bonus gives them permission to go. Not even just that, but when you tap into people's WIFM, what's in it for me, then they can clearly see themselves in the result. Remember, you have to build 3 beliefs: a belief in you, your system, and that they can do it with your help. And at some point, you are an emotional buyer or a logical buyer. If you have an urgent pain that needs help now, you're an emotional buyer. If you break your leg, right, and you go to the emergency room, you don't care what's on that bill. 9 times out of 10, you don't even know the price of that bill until after they do the surgery. You just want what? Your leg fixed, right? But if you stub your toe and you just need a Band-Aid, well, now you become a logical buyer. Is this worth me investing into doing this, or can I do it myself, right? Or maybe I need a little bit more information before I make that decision. Logical buyers, they need time to process. They're not cold, they're just careful. Your follow-up sequences, your nurture content, and free resources convert them days and weeks later, but don't abandon this group, right? 90% of your people are logical buyers. They need time. 10% are emotional buyers. In your virtual event, you're going to be speaking to the emotional buyers, right? In your long-term content, you're speaking to the logical buyer. And it's not that logical buyers don't buy at your virtual event, right? I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn how we get people to buy in a second, but it's not that they won't buy at your virtual event. It's just that they need more convincing, and they need to understand a little bit more in order to convert. Your conversion system must be built to capture both, or you're only selling to half of the room. All right. So here's the conversion blueprint. So you want to build content around your offer, right? So everybody drop your offer in the chat. If you were to create a virtual event right now, I want you to drop your offer in the chat. What do you offer and for how much? Okay? Drop it in the chat. What do you offer? If you were to create a virtual event to offer something, what do you offer and how much is it? Let's go. Wake up, people. What's up, Instagram? Y'all can participate too. I want to know, what do you offer and how much is it? Okay, Kai offers life coaching. Okay, and 997. Okay, good, good. All right. So you want to take your content and you want to build it around your offer. So if you sell life coaching, and I would get more specific around what that means, but if you sell life coaching, then the content of your event needs to make your offer the obvious best next step, not a surprise pitch, right? The next step is you want to have a premium offer ready. So ideally, I like to tell people let's try to aim for, not try, let's aim for at least $1,000 or more, right? So that makes getting to your result quicker. Premium offers justify the investment in your system and amplifies your results. All right. Intentional value first, right? And follow up, or I'm sorry, intentional value first follow up process. So you want to follow up with those who did not close on your event by leveraging things like follow up events. Now you can do one-on-one calls because they're qualified and they've consumed your content. Free resources, all designed to help you nurture and deliver value and build the relationship. And then the final step is keep them in your ecosystem, right? Be the next best option at the right time. Stay visible and what I like to say, top of mind, and stay valuable, right? And that's how you convert. Now, from two tiny talks, this is how mine worked. So from two tiny talks, this is how I generated over $20,000. All right. So my live audience I had 100 people sign up for my virtual event. On average, there was about 17 to 20 attendees. So we had a multi-day event. There were 17 to 20 attendees each day. And then leads sign up. I don't know what this leads sign up 40. Oh, in total, we had about 43 people who attended the event just in total. Again, it was a multi-day event. Oh, I'm sorry. No, no, no. Let me back up. We had a total of 100 people from my speaking gig. So the two talks, 43 of those people came from those speaking gigs. So I believe 30 came from the 1 minute talk, and then 13 came from that 10-minute talk, right? And then we leveraged other ways to fill our event, which was through our warm audience and ads. And again, I'll talk to you more about how you can learn about other ways to fill your event. But ultimately, 43 people from those two talks signed up for my event. All right. Now, let's go to the breakdown. So if we just look at the 43 leads captured from, from the out of the 100 people that signed up for the event in total, 43. On the webinar, or on the virtual event, we closed over $9,500. In the follow-up process, right? So remember, you do need a follow-up process. We closed an additional 4 clients at $13,750 for a total revenue of $23,250. Now, I will remove one person from this from these numbers because they came by way of an ad, right? So one person closed from an ad. The other 4, 5, 6, 7. The other 6 people closed from those virtual events, right? That's how I generated over $20,000. And the offer was a $3,000 offer, all the way up to a $5,000 offer. Okay, depending on what package they got. This is how it's done. High ticket offer. I had my own event. It was a multi-day event, so we spent a lot of time together. I had a strong follow-up process, and I made an offer to the right people by saying the right things. Drop a make sense in the chat if this is making sense. All right? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Is this making sense? Let's go. What's up, Tap Out? Perfect. Okay. Yes, makes sense with the CENTS. I love this. So Dr. Sue and Share. So these are clients of mine that implemented this system. And I'll show you their case studies in a moment. But Share was a author who came to us, and she came to me because she was like, okay, I'm selling books, but how do I actually build a business, leveraging what it is that I do? And she writes Wanderlust Romance. So her offer that we created for her was, how do we create something that intersects the interests of her readers? So we created a travel club that she charged $97 a month for people to join, and they got discounts and trips and all of these other things, and there were back end offers. When she came to me, it took her 3 years to generate $8,000 in her business. When she implemented this strategy, used the webinar to sell her memberships right on the back end of selling her books, she generated over $14,000 in 90 days of recurring revenue. Dr. Sue is a spiritual life coach. She's a mindset mastery architect. And when we implemented this in her business, she held a virtual event. She did a networking type virtual event, like a wind down event, where she got people into the event, made her offer, and she generated over $7,000 in a matter of 2 weeks. So this system works. The results, right, are there. Their business didn't just grow, it transformed, because when the system is right, the stage size doesn't matter. And these weren't huge rooms, y'all. These weren't huge rooms. I would say Share, we probably had about 30 to 40 people average on her webinar. And then Dr. Sue, she had about maybe 8 to 10 people in a room every time she did her event. So it doesn't take a lot of people. All right. The ACC method is what you must install into your business, right? Attract and begin with the end in mind. You want to get on the right stages, say the right things, right? And always make an offer. Your ideal buyers are in that room. Give them a reason to raise their hand. Step 2 was to convict. You want to invite them into your world using a virtual event to control the process. You want to build know, like, and trust at scale, and position your offer as the obvious next step before you ever get on a sales call. And then step 3 is convert. You want to have a system that closes now and later, and build your content around your offer, follow up with value, and be the next best option when your buyer is ready, whether that's day 1 or day 30. So listen, drop a yes in the chat if you got value from that framework, right? And I'm gonna demonstrate for you all the talk that I did and why it converted. But drop a yes in the chat. Okay, I got some yeses. Drop a yes on Instagram if y'all got value out of that as well. Drop a yes in the chat if you would like help structuring your virtual event. If you could, in 3 days, get how you're going to fill your event. What are you going to say at this event? How are you going to convert these people at the event? Drop a yes in the chat if you would like to learn how to do that. All right. Drop a yes in the chat. All right. All right. Instagram showing some love. So I would like to invite you all to my 3-day challenge that we have coming up here. Give me 1 second while I switch gears here. I would like to invite you all to my 3-day challenge where we're going to teach you how to do this. So it's called the How to Sell More with Webinars 3-day challenge. And if I can get my screen working. Here we go. All All right, I'm going to share my screen here. So in just 3 days, we are going to walk through how to structure your event, right? So you're going to learn the step-by-step system on how to sell more with webinars in just 3 days, even if you don't have a huge social media following, a big email list, or run ads. And again, this is the perfect opportunity for you to install this system in your business and begin to make some revenue, generate some revenue, right? And so whether you never hosted a webinar before, don't have an email list, that's no problem. This 3-day challenge was made for beginners, coaches, consultants, product-based businesses, if you're open to selling at a premium and need a clear roadmap. Again, here are some people who I've worked with that I'm going to teach you this exact same framework. So again, Kissy, she is a blogger, influencer, and relationship coach. She installed a webinar in her business and generated 10K in one day and then made 20K in less than 30 days. Cher, like I told you, took her 3 years to make $8,000 after she installed a webinar in her business or virtual event in her business. In 3 months, she 4x'd her revenue that she made in 3 years. And then Dr. Sue made 7K in 2 weeks. She's a Mind Mastery and life coach by using this system and framework. All right. So in 3 days, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn your offer into a premium price solution that people will happily pay for. You're going to learn how to create content that converts a cold audience into buyers. And then you're going to learn how to sell without being salesy, even if you hate pitching, right? You're going to learn how to put a system in place to automate consistent leads and make you money in your sleep. I've literally done it. All right. All that while staying true to your personality, style, and values. So normally the general admission price is $97. But for those of you who join today, you will be able to join for just $47 for general admission. We also have VIP and all of that. I'll get into that in a little bit later. Let me walk through what we're going to go over day by day so you know what it is that you're getting into. So day one, we're going to cover the profitable webinar strategy. You're going to learn the one presentation profit plan, how any business owner can sell their products or services with just one sales presentation and scale without burnout. You're going to learn the unlimited lead strategy, how to consistently fill your webinars with qualified leads, not just attendees. We want qualified leads without wasting money on ads or burning out your audience. You're going to learn the webinar selling system framework. This is the step-by-step on how to build a webinar machine that fills your calendar and your bank account even when you sleep. All right, so that's on day one. Day two, we're going to talk about creating your converting content. So remember, we need to build the 3 beliefs: the belief in you as the expert or the service provider, the belief in your system or your product, the belief that they can do it with your system and your help, right? So I'm going to teach you how to create the attract, convict, and convert content formula, exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to craft a webinar that moves your audience from cold to customer in one session or at one event. You're also going to learn the premium pricing formula, my proven method for positioning any product or service as a premium high ticket offer your audience will gladly pay for. And then on day 3, we're going to wrap it up with the Confident Closer Blueprint. So we're going to go deep on the one-to-many selling training, how to sell to groups instead of chasing individuals so that you close more sales with less effort and more freedom without being salesy. And then the 6-figure follow-up sequence, you're going to learn the strategy to follow up with non-buyers to increase your revenue and maximize sales. So with these strategies, I will tell you what our clients have found. We have a 40% or more show-up rate in our virtual events by using our sequences. And then our clients generate more revenue than they would if they didn't have this follow-up sequence in place. And when I show you guys the sequence, it's going to be so insane. So listen, I'm going to drop this link in the chat. I'm going to drop this link in the chat so that you can register now. We already have some participants. Let's go. Bridget is one of our participants. We already have some participants, and I want you to get into the challenge now. And as a reminder, when you join now, you are going to not only get a certain percentage off. Sorry, y'all. I'm finding my. I gave my team the day off today, so I am solo dolo. So not only are you going to get that percentage off, but you're also going to get some fabulous bonuses, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Yeah, it's solo dolo. Listen, sometimes you just got to be impromptu. That link is in the chat, okay? There's some bonuses that I'm going to do. So number one, for those of you, and I'm going to show you the talk in just a second. If you're ready to make your micro talk, again, like your 1 minute talk, on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, I am going to be helping everyone who signs up for the challenge today. I'm going to help you develop your 1 minute talk, right? Using that framework. Okay. So that link is in the chat. Also, if you get VIP, reshare, get VIP, there's some additional bonuses. So general admission just gets you in the room. And I see the question. So y'all can click the link in my bio too on Instagram. And the challenge is March 10th through the 12th. All right. Challenge is March 10th through the 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. Now, general admission is $47. And general admission gets you in the room. Yes, Bridget, thank you so much. General admission gets you in the room. 3 powerful days to build a high converting webinar that attracts leads, close sales, and positions you as the authority with live training and private community support. I'm breaking it down. You can and showing y'all the behind the curtains on what it is that makes this work, how I built a multiple 6-figure business, leveraging this strategy, and how you can do the same. All right, so that gets you in the room. Now, if you upgrade to VIP, you get access to the VIP virtual pre-networking event. You also get a private Q&A with me an hour before the call. So everybody joins at 7. You'll join at 6. I'll be able to look at your offer. I'll be able to look at what you're implementing, what you're learning from the content, and tell you how to position it with your offer, answer your questions. I am your coach for those 3 days, right? You also get a challenge workbook. And then you also get my 11K webinar breakdown walkthrough. This is where I did a webinar specifically from like partnerships and speaking events, and it generated over $11,000. And so I walk you through how I did that. That was like one of my first successful webinars. And then you also get 7 days access to the replay. So VIP is normally $197, but when you sign up right now, and you can, if you're watching on YouTube or if you are joining me on Instagram, you can go to sellingwithwebinars.com/register. You can get it for $97. But if you can do executive VIP, I would encourage you to do executive VIP. And here's why. You get all of that that's included in regular VIP, plus you get priority hot seat coaching. So when I'm doing the examples and when I'm asking questions and when I'm workshopping with people, when you have questions, executive VIP gets to go first. We make sure the executive VIP is taken care of, then we go to VIP, and then if we have time, we go to general admission, right? Also, during the challenge, you get group Voxer access to me. So let's say we do day 1 and you're like, Coach Nick, that was fire. I have questions. I need to, yeah, you are executive VIP, Bridget. Let's go. Coach Nick, that was fire. I have a question though. How do I implement this inside of what it is that I offer? You know, you can join the live session and you can ask me questions on Voxer. All right. And I love the Voxer groups. We talk business strategy in there. And then also you get a one-on-one post-challenge recap call with me where I will look through your notes. I will give you feedback. I want to make sure you are equipped to do this and to get into action. The number one killer of businesses is inaction, right? I want you to take imperfect action, but I would love to guide you as you do that, right? And then not only do you get access to the replay, you get 30 days access to the challenge replay. All right. So listen, join in. That link is in the chat. If you are watching me on YouTube or if you are joining me from Instagram, you can go to sellingwithwebinars.com/register. And these reduced prices are yours when you take action today. So listen, if you could do VIP, do VIP. But even if you can't do VIP, just get in the room. Sometimes getting in the room is exactly what you need. Okay. So, if you've ever said, I want to learn how to sell my knowledge and expertise, I've been thinking about doing a webinar, but I don't know how. I don't know about the back end. I don't know how to transition to my pitch. I need a real strategy to get clients. You definitely want to be at this event. Okay. So, that link is in the chat. I'm going to pull up my script that I used. Again, if you sign up for the challenge, here we go. Okay, there it is. If you sign up for the challenge, I will walk you through this script, like why I did what I did and like the psychology behind everything. And then we'll also work on developing your 1 minute signature talk. And again, when I say 1 minute signature talk, it starts at 1 minute, but you can take that talk and expand it to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. But even if you just use it as a 1 minute talk, it's still so powerful. Yes, let's go. I'm excited too, Bridget. Bridget said, I do webinars, but I need to convert better. That's why I went for the executive VIP. Nick knows his stuff. Yes, let's go. Thank you for the shout out. Okay, so again, this talk was done for, and I'm gonna try to time myself. Let me see. I think Zoom has a timer. This webinar or this particular talk was done for a room of entrepreneurs, and specifically it was for people who paid for VIP. Again, remember, people demonstrate their habits by demonstrating their habits. So if you pay to get in the room, or if you are paying a membership to be in that and you're in that room, then I want to be in that room, right? Because they're demonstrating their habits by demonstrating their habits. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this in under a minute. They gave us a minute and they were like, we're gonna cut your mic off. And here it goes. $129,800. Y'all, that's what I saw on my revenue report, December 31st, 2022. No huge social media following, no large email list. It was because I got strategic and operated with power and focus. Oh Lord, y'all, let me start over. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, bet off. This is live time. You can't say that it's not live. Okay. $129,800. Shout out to the rent fans. Not only was I able to pay my rent, but that's what I saw on my sales report, my first six-figure year. Not because I had a huge following or a big email list, but because I hosted webinars. If you are not using webinars to grow your business, you are leaving money on the table. But drop a yes in the chat if you're ready to pick that money up. I'm inviting you to my How to Sell More with Webinars 3-day challenge. I'll walk you through in just 3 days the 3 moves you need to be successful with webinars. How to build a room full of ready to buy leads, ready to throw money at you, content that attracts, convicts, and converts, and a system that allows you to automate the whole thing to make money in your sleep. I use this strategy to build a six-figure business, and my clients have done the same. Tickets are $97, but I'm giving the first 16 tickets complimentary when you click the link in that chat now. So let's get to this bag, right? All right, it's been a while since I did it, but what do y'all think? Oh, the music is playing. Drop in the chat what you think. What you think? So we use the framework, right? Use the framework to build hype, get them excited, taught them just a little bit. I didn't go into detail into the how. I invited you into my world so that we can go into detail, right? Let's go. So awesome. All right. So listen, that link is in the chat. I want to teach you how to do this. Like I said, I'm going to teach you how to create your 1 minute talk when you join the challenge today. And we're taking off the reduced price, giving you reduced pricing. And I want you to hear from some of our clients that we've worked with specifically to help them not only launch their business, but a few of them have used this strategy as well. So while you get ready and y'all are registering, I'm going to just let you hear from them, and then I'll answer any questions that you may have.
I'm an author. I write Wanderlust romance, and I would have left it at that. I would have probably tried to describe what Wanderlust romance is, Black romance about women who travel around the world and, the men who chase them. But since we started working together, that's kind of changed a little bit, and it's still changing. So I'm Cher Therese. I'm an author. I write Wanderlust romance, and this story is about perfectly imperfect women and the men who chase them around the world. And I also am now a major part of the travel community, the luxury travel community, and we're building a brand to just get women, perfectly imperfect women, booked.
What was going on in the business? And what made you say, you know what? I want to work with Nick and his team?
So a couple of things happened even before the VIP day. I think the first time I got on the phone with you, you kind of listened to what I was thinking I needed about this. And I was like, you are articulating everything I've been struggling to articulate, not because it wasn't there or I didn't think it was possible. I just didn't think I could do it as a one-man show. We kind of created this hook where my books are the offer. The front end, hey, I'm an author, check this book out. As a matter of fact, one of the first creative things we did together was come up with a creative dramatic narration of the first chapter of the first or the book that I was about to release. And what that actually did was got people to buy in. And then on the back end, they became a part of my contact list, if you will. So I went from an 800 member email list
River,
to now
welcome
have
to
over
the challenge.
3,000 people on the list. And of those 3,000 people on the list, we built even more back-end offers. We're bringing people through this free online webinar, and people are excited about this free information about how a Wanderlust author like me travels the world in luxury to write her books, sometimes for less than $500.
And then we kind of transitioned into
Hey, Clifton,
this
check
whole
your
travel
direct
world,
message.
and all we did was just continue to serve your audience and their interests. Talk to us. The people like to hear about revenue journey.
So real moment of honesty. The whole term of broke artist is a real thing. Revenue wise, I wrote my first book, published in 2021. So between 2021 and mid 2024, I probably had made $8,000 total in revenue for all books. 2025 first quarter. In one quarter, I have made more than I have made in the last 3 years on my books. So hopefully that describes it. I think it's 4X.
Say has been the biggest aha or your big win since working with us?
Webinars actually work. Having a training or a not necessarily a consulting offer, but having a course that people truly want information and that you actually give value actually works to generate revenue.
That's what I'm doing. Now just think, and I've had to ask myself this question, where would I be if I had listened to Coach Nick and not been resistant, if I had listened to him in the first place? That aside, I am so excited that not him, he had it all the time. See, he had the ability to read me, to know exactly what I needed. He had it. I didn't have it. So I am grateful that he helped me get clarity on what I was doing, on what my purpose is, and by working with him, he has given me the confidence to step fully into my power. I'm just saying, you need a business coach? He's the one. Ability to see what, for all my smarts, I just didn't see. He had the ability to lay it out in a way that made sense. It's like a step-by-step process. That's what it is, a template.
So when you launched, talk about your results of when you launched. How much did you make? How long did it take you to make it? and all the things.
In transparency, before I launched, I was making a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. But when I launched, I made $7,000 in 2 weeks. So
See Denise, the masterpiece, the goddess of love and motivation. I am a celebrity blogger. I have more than 500,000 followers. I'm close to growing to 1 million followers on social media. And then I came across Nick. I got in Nick's mastermind. And it's like all of a sudden I got excited again. I got reinvigorated and I got to know myself a little more. As soon as I got into this mastermind, I went to a 10K month. Well, it was really a 10K week, but we're going to say a 10K month. And then the next month, getting more confidence on how to pitch my offer, how to reframe my strategy and my messaging. I literally had a 10K day. And let me tell you how good Nick is. In this 10K day, it was really a 10K like 3 hours. Like it was really like, like that.
Relaunching my business, I had an $8,000 launch.
Since our launch, we have made 8 to 10K.
I was able to not only launch I Am Rochelle Cooper, also I was able to leave my full-time job.
But I'm actually contracting employees.
Nick has helped us. We are now vacationing.
I made my first 5K launch.
I would say don't hesitate. Like the program is awesome. Trust Coach Nick's process.
Wherever you are, wherever you're watching this video, please do well to subscribe and join this coaching section. You want to launch your business, you want to take your business to the next level, you've been struggling with that big idea that you want to launch, you can actually start up something for yourself.
So trust the process, take the course.
If you just trust it, just trust it and actually go through the steps. But if you follow the process and take like each step at a time and do the assignments, like you definitely gonna see the results. And the biggest thing
We just finished a one-on-one session. Randy, just tell the people a little bit how you feel, what we accomplished.
All right, so at this point, well, before the call, I was definitely in limbo. I was explained that to Coach Nick, and in just 30 minutes, I got clarity. I have direction. Like the fog is clearing up, and I'm almost able to see this light at the end of the road in 30 minutes.
How excited are you for your new journey?
I'm too excited. I am too excited. And I just, like I told you, I just want to save these women. I just want to help these women. I just I'm sorry. I know it's being recorded.
It's all good. It's all good.
Man, and you just cleared that up. And you let me know what I'm really here for, why I'm still here, and why I'm overcoming the way I am. And thank you, Coach Nick.
Of course, you will help these women get their life back. So let's go do it. It's time to put our money where our mouth is. So
Yeah.
let's work.
Let's get it. Let's
All
get
right.
it.
Yes, let's get to work. Let's get to work. All right. So listen, that link is in the chat. And again, if you are watching me on YouTube, we will have the special pricing up for a limited time, but once it goes up, it goes up. So make sure you go to sellingwithwebinars.com/register. And I look forward to helping you get to the next level. So I can't wait to see y'all at the challenge, March 10th through the 12th. And y'all have a wonderful Saturday. Thank you for your time. Bye.